Hello, everyone. Welcome to Style Esports Season 6. I am your host, Shinkari. I'm joined today by Baymax. We are casting a game of untold proportions for you today. Two giants clashing against one another. The N2o Barbarians versus, I don't know. Baymax, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. We might have differing opinions on the term giant. I would not refer to either of these teams as giants personally. That being said, I don't doubt that it will be an interesting game. And already, I'm noticing something crucial. N2o Barbarians, not the N2o Barbarians, excuse me, I don't care, have on their team a mid laner who goes by the name of Morgana Freeman. That Morgana has been banned away. Morgana Freeman, not going to get the Ghana.
Yeah, not. It looks like she's Ghana. If you know. Yeah, I tried real hard. I'm so sorry.
I'm with it. I liked it.
Yeah,
I was there for it.
It was the problem is that the Ghana pun is a very low hanging fruit, but I just the execution just wasn't there.
I thought it was just the right amount of like, this is really stupid. I thought it was good. Good. But,
so bans already coming through. We are almost finished here. Hecarim being the final ban. So if you are seeing a blue square over for I don't know's bans, that is actually a Nautilus ban. So just picture
Nautilus
a
ban,
man.
you know what that means? That means the Katarina is still open, and so is the Tryndamere for N2o Barbarians. So I'm fully expecting. It would not surprise me at all to see after whatever I don't know picks gets locked in, and N2o Barbarians could instantly go for that Katarina and that Tryndamere. Katarina, of course, being very strongly preferred mid laner for Guilty, which I take it back actually because Guilty has been subbed out for Viper, who plays the Seraphine, the Zyra, and the Brand. So I take that back. Maybe Seraphine, maybe Tryndamere, or Leo.
Sorry, I just got completely distracted. Excuse me. Leona being hovered, Jhin being picked. You know, there's someone found the lobby and being a jerk, and it just completely distracted me. I apologize. N2o Barbarians picking up Leona here. Very, very strong pick in this current meta, especially when Rel and Morgana are gone here. So once again, this is just a very strong pick for this current meta.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was looking at these teams and I noticed that both supports tend to favor heavily engage supports. Things like the Leona, things like the Rel. I think Nautilus was in the champion pool of both players. The Blitzcrank as well for I Don't Care, which is a bit of a wild card there. We might see a Blitzcrank come through as an answer. The Tristana Leona, though, Tristana getting locked in for half hazardous means that Barbarians have drafted a very, very strong all-in in their bot lane.
Yeah, it's also a little interesting to note that I was personally predicting Asakura to be picking up Jinx here. They do have a lot of history on that champion, and after the buffs to especially some attack speed items, as well as to Jinx herself, I was expecting to see Jinx here, but, you know, Leona Tristana is another very good composition here. Alistar being picked for I Don't Know, and Kayn being hovered.
The Kayn being hovered and the Kayn being locked in. So, I don't know, revealing their entire bottom half of the map. Well, maybe not. Does jungle count as bottom half? Not really. Not typically. I don't know. Kayn locked in. I like the Alistar, right? It's a good option to sort of disengage or stall the engage that can come through from the bot lane for the N2o Barbarians. I don't know about the Kayn. I feel like the Kayn is probably not as good as some other junglers. Kayn, of course, had a bit of time in the spotlight earlier this year when Gore Drinker was absolutely disgusting on him. Has since been nerfed a couple times, and some other junglers have sort of risen to the spotlight ahead of him. Things like the Hecarim, which was banned away in first rotation, but things like Olaf as well, which was still open and on the table. So it's a bit surprising to see the Kayn come through, but definitely can become very hard to deal with if there's an early transformation, or if he gets a bit of a lead, gets an early Gore Drinker, suddenly all that healing becomes impossible to deal with.
Right. And this we kind of see that Kayn kind of fills this around the similar thing that Viego wants to be doing, right? It's an assassin character that wants to get very ahead very early so that they can continue to reap the benefits, if you will, as we continue on into bans now. Seraphine being covered and Darius being banned as well.
The Seraphine being taken away doesn't surprise me too much because, like I said, the mid laner for Barbarians is going to be Viper. Barbarians haven't picked the mid laner yet. Most likely, I suppose it could be a flex with the Tristana mid or something crazy. Right. But for the most part, likely have not picked the mid yet. And Viper does tend to favor those supportive champions like the Seraphine. He's actually got some games on it. So taking that away, that's a strong takeaway from Barbarians when they already have so much damage in the Tristana. And the Seraphine provides utility to keep the Tristana alive that honestly is unmatched. Like Seraphine mid is so good. Seraphine as a champion is disgusting. Moonstone Renewer is so good on her. I think her win rate is like 54% or something stupid. It's crazy high. Her pick rate, her presence in like all levels of play is nuts. So it's never bad to take that away.
I mean, I'm the firm believer of you should be banning Seraphine in every game you play because she's relatively easy to play. She has such a large impact on the map. She is flexible between the mid and the support, and she has so much synergy with so many other characters. So this is definitely a very, very strong pick to take away Lux now being locked in for the N2o Barbarians.
N2o Barbarians on with a bit of a weird one here. Lux, normally when it does come up, I see it more often support than mid lane, but does fit. It does fit a little bit with the champion pool of the area. It does fit with what N2o Barbarians need, I think, right? They already have the consistent late game DPS start from the Tristana. They've got engage from Leona and Ornn. A little bit of support from the shielding to help keep Tristana alive, and a little bit of bursty sort of one-shot potential to follow up when the Leona engages. I think Lux provides a lot that the N2o Barbarians can use in a great way. That being said, it does mean that have the option to counter pick it, and Morgana Freeman has gone with Diana.
Yeah, and now we see Diana and Set being locked in here, and that was a quick lock-in. That was the fastest Master Yi. I feel like if you play Master Yi, there's like no other speed that you lock in Master Yi with. I feel like that's the insta-lock is the only amount of speed you can ever have when you play Master Yi. So this is definitely an interesting pickup. I think we were more predicting to see like Tryndamere in the top lane, but we're seeing the Ornn, and this Master Yi pick is pretty out of I don't want to say out of the blue, but it feels like that considering
it's a little out of left field. I would agree.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree it's a little out of left field. And N2o Barbarians jungler, a guy by the name of Mechanic Maniac. Let me see if I can pull up his match history here. I don't believe he's got a ton of the Master Yi. Favors Umumu, Ujir, Hecarim, Olaf. All of these are champions I'm seeing his match history. Master Yi, way down on the list. Does have some experience on it last season. And Master Yi, like riding a bike, you never really forget. But I'm wondering what prompted the N2o Barbarians to pick it here, because I honestly feel like it's not that great into I Don't Know's team. The Alistar is not a bad answer. The Diana, hard to kill, hard to get on top of. The sets, of course, a lot of crowd control, instant disengage, can ult that Master Yi right back into the other side of the fight from whoever he's arcane shifting, not arcane shifting, from whoever he's alpha striking on top of. And just in general, everyone on I Don't Know, nearly everyone, once Kane gets his transformation, literally everyone has some form of crowd control or something in their kit that can stuff a Master Yi. So it seems a little risky.
Yeah, it's certainly a risky pick. I agree. I think that maybe the thought process was, hey, we already have two beefy frontliners, right? We have Leona and Ornn. Can't get more tanky than that, right? And we have sort of like a supportive burst mage in the mid lane. Why don't we just get another form of consistent DPS and put it in the jungle? And it seems like Master Yi does really fit that role very well. You know, we have a champion that has a lot of attack speed, a lot of movement speed, can make himself invulnerable to the alpha strike.
You know who might fit that role better? I don't know. Olaf, Elise, Ujir. Was Ujir open? I think Ujir was open.
Ujir was the first ban.
Okay. I maybe even Amumu. I feel like Amumu would have been better here, to be honest. AP Amumu, he plays Amumu. I don't know. I'm not sold in the Master Yi. I got to be honest.
Well, you don't have to be sold per se.
There's
you know,
so
you can
little
at
AP
least
damage
look at it in the window and just be like, no, I get that. and just
there's
keep
so
moving
little
on.
AP
You know what I
damage
mean?
too, because now Barbarians have locked themselves into a comp that is almost full AD, right? The Lux is not a terrible magic damage source, but Lux really isn't that great at shredding tanks. And I don't know of a pretty bruisery team. I feel like Barbarians are gonna have such a hard time actually killing Set or Kane or Alistar unless the Master Yi really pops off.
I don't know. I feel like it might be just I think N2o Barbarians has drafted a fairly good team here. I think when you get down to this elo and comfort is king, and I think we discussed this a little bit in the
but he doesn't play it. Yeah. He hardly ever plays it, man. He hasn't, like, I agree. Comfort often matters above everything else. Master Yi, he's got like 20 games on it in all of last season, which it puts him, I don't know, like 10th most played champion last season, something like that. There's like, he's got like no games on it this season, like 5 junglers he's recently practiced more, 3 of whom I think would probably be better here. But we've talked about, I've complained about the Master Yi enough. I'm going to move on. You can, you got any last words that you want to get in on the conversation?
My last words is, I don't think it's that bad. I think it fits a niche in the team comp fairly well. It might not be the best pick, but it certainly is something that fits. I don't know. On the other hand, they've drafted a pretty damage-heavy team, and unless Kane is going red, this is a team that might be super squish, and the Master Yi might be able to run wild with.
So I would assume it's going to be a red Kane, and here's the biggest problem that I have with the N2o Barbarians composition. I feel like they may struggle with not having pressure on the map anywhere in the early game. The 2v2s or the 3v3s brought on across the map, especially once Kane gets transformation, are going to be, for the most part, I think, stronger from, I don't know, especially on the mid lane. Diana is already a pretty good pick into the Lux, just left in a vacuum. When you throw into the Mist, say, hey, it's a Kane jungle versus a Master Yi, neither one of those junglers do a ton of damage early, but I can see a Kane having a much better time against a Lux than a Master Yi against a Diana and a Kane. Right. There's so many tools in that 2v2 for, I don't know, to break open the map from the mid lane. And that being said, the Barbarians have tons of options too, especially on the bottom side of the map. If you don't keep an eye on this Leona and Tristana, they can jump onto your AD carry and kill him. But the Barbarians, but I don't know, has drafted the Alistar, which is a pretty good counter to that sort of heavy dive style that the Barbarians want to play in the bot lane. I'm jiving with I don't know's team comp right now.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at N2o Barbarians and saying these folks want to be getting to level 13 and then trying to win the game off of that. I think, like, once level 13 happens and Ornn starts making ornaments, Lux starts having a cooldown of her ultimate that's like 15 seconds, and Tristana has a million yard attack range and a million attack speed. It's going to be very hard to take down N2o Barbarians. But I think we've both put our chips on the table. I think we're both betting on the other team. So this will certainly be a fun game to watch and cast. But we are going to take just a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with I Don't Know versus N2o Barbarians. Game 1. Right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Back to Style Esports. We are on the Rift. N2o Barbarians on the red side. I don't know is on the blue. And we are finally ready to go. The line of scrimmage across the river has been drawn. We are finally into this epic showdown. A Clash of Titans.
We are finally into the Clash of Titans. And I do want to point out that the most played mid laners, I took a look at this in the break. Morgana Freeman's most played mid laners last season were Lux, followed closely by Diana. And remember, the Diana was a counter pick. So if anybody knows this matchup between the two, it's probably Morgana Freeman. And Morgana Freeman picked the Diana for a reason. So I think keep that in mind. I do think there's a very excellent chance the mid lane is going to be where it all comes together for I Don't Know's composition. And like I said, I do like I Don't Know's odds of winning this game.
Yeah. A little bit of an interesting itemization here early on, and I think N2o Viper might have noticed it. Spell Thief's Edge. Huh. Yeah, oops. It's probably should have kept that, buddy. All right.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Well...
So for those who don't know what just happened, I can summarize quickly. N2o Viper accidentally bought a Spell Thief's Edge, which is a support item, and didn't realize until after leaving Fountain, which means that Viper could not, unfortunately, undo that purchase and sell that Spell Thieves for full price. And now Viper doesn't have enough money to walk the lane with an actual starting item. And this is already a lane that was counterpicked against him. Plus, off that reset, he actually got the lane late and missed the first few minions. So already mid lane, actually off to a very strong start for Morgana Freeman.
Yeah, and you really hate to see it, and almost like I wish I could have just screamed, if I could scream through the internet, just keep the Spell Thieves. Just hit them a couple times. Like, maybe farm one less minion. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like keeping the Spell Thief's Edge, even though it's less than... Ooh, we might have been engaged in the bot lane, though. Early level 2.
Yeah,
a decent chunk of damage. Oh, he's flashing for it? Looks like Asakura is not there to follow up, so...
Not quite. Got some flashes burned, though. Flash out of both Nemesis, or out of only Nemesis, actually. So, N2o Barbarians losing out on that one a little bit, I would say. But in terms of the HP profile, Sholenal of Demi... a little bit worse for wear, but both supports popping some HP pots to keep themselves alive and topped off. Nothing too crazy yet.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically what you want to be doing. It was a very good level 2. I just think they committed just a little
top
too
lane,
much.
top lane.
Oh, yeah, that's a flash already. Leoncia is looking in for this Anonymous here. They're able to find the slow, but I don't think they're able to get too much out of it. But picking up a flash from the Ornn here is pretty valuable, so that's a pretty worthwhile gank here for I Don't Know.
Yeah, I will say, I mentioned this to you when we were loading into the game. I'm not 100% sure how this top lane matchup would go. Ornn generally is a pretty nice lane bully. He's got a ton of % max HP damage and does quite well against these tankier champions. And so for now, it is Anonymous who's got lane priority, and he is buying Mechanic Maniac, this Scuttle Crab with it. Leonia dashing forward, trying to get a steal off, but he's all by himself, gonna have to flash over the wall, should stay alive for now. Scuttle Crab victory going over to the N2o Barbarians. And I forgot, I totally just play-by-played all of that. I was play-by-play the other night. You're play-by-play tonight. So I'm gonna try to shut up.
No, it's fine because I totally color cast a little too much the other time too. So we're even Steven now. Man, it's totally fine. I get it. We're totally fine. We're gonna move on. It was actually
we're gonna move on. We're moving
on. What this
moving
does
on to the bot side river.
Yep, Master Yi does get the double crab, so that's pretty huge. Ooh. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, that's a great Q combo onto Alistar there. Alistar able to get the knockback onto Tristana. Not a whole lot to come off of that anyway. So.
Hey, that's sort of the problem with being the Leona Tristana here. It's sort of hard to engage on the Alistar because he's an Alistar, but it's hard to engage in the Jhin because he's got an Alistar. So it's just like, you sort of, I don't know if they can win this lane, at least without getting some poke down onto Sholenal of Demi first. Top lane.
That's a lot of damage. Anonymous taking a huge chunk of HP out of Meme Lord here, and he's going to have to use that punch defensively there. A huge shield he got, but Ornn is able to turn around and pick up a ruby crystal and a cloth armor immediately thanks to his passive. So this is going to be a lane that's going to be a lot harder for
Take a look at Morgana.
to continue.
Morgana Freeman.
Oh, yeah. Morgana Freeman coming in from the side here. N2o going to use his dash to get away. Morgana Freeman coming back in, but that's going to be the first blood going over to Diana in the top lane there. That's a really, really good roam.
Yeah, a fantastic look out of Morgana Freeman. Doing a good job of using that lane priority, right? We talked about the counter pick bot lane.
We might also get a gank in the bot lane here. Asakura taking insanely low here, but Ignite is taken and gonna go down to the Alistar here, and 2 assists. That might also be the Dragon as well. Looks like they're just backing off.
I do think Dragon may be a little risky because the Barbarians, or not Barbarians, I don't know where Mechanic Maniac is. Now, he is at his Krug's top side, but they were not privy to that information. And there's not a lot of DPS on the side of I don't know to actually kill that Dragon quickly. Right. Although, after Half Hazardous and Shaleno of Demi have actually have crashed that way bot lane, they are going to look to start up this Dragon anyway because Morgana Freeman has made it back to mid lane and is now providing a bit of mid lane pressure. He'll be there if his team needs him to roam over. And also, N2o Viper, they just hit a reset in the mid lane as well.
So the mid laner's got a reset. The jungler, I think, was spotted up in the top lane. There were a couple of pings up on the top side there. So this is going, even though they don't have a whole lot of damage, that is going to be the first Dragon of the game going over to I don't know. So already a pretty commanding start for them so far. 600 gold separates these two teams, 2 kills to their name, but it looks like Master Yi might be doing a little bit of counter jungling here.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, right? Because you're right. I don't know so far off to a good start, but if N2o Barbarians have a win condition, it is Mechanic Maniac being strong on the Master Yi, and he's up 30 CS. No, not 30, 20 CS. On Leonja, on Kayn. He's up 20 CS on Kayn right now. And he's only getting a bigger farm lead as time goes on. He is one of the first players of the game to actually hit level 6. He's at level 6, 2 levels higher than Leonja is. He's actually really strong and in a fairly good spot to carry this game for his team, assuming that the rest of the map doesn't fall apart too quickly. And you'll notice 2 kills to 0, a Dragon to no Dragon. But despite that, the gold is dead even between these teams. And that is because of Mechanic Maniac.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that denying these creeps from Kayn means that it's going to take him just a little bit longer for him to transform. So either he has to start doing some counter jungling of his own, or he's going to have to be showing his presence in lane a lot more than he currently has. He's already done about a couple ganks. Only really one of them has been successful in terms of progressing his passive. So Kayn is either going to want to
Nemesis.
Oh yeah, Nemesis getting Hex Flashing in a little too early. Already taking out a huge amount of CC and damage. Going to take him to about half HP. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Anonymous is going to trade back and forth with Meme Lord there, taking a huge chunk of damage off of Set. And these are some pretty bloody lanes across the board here.
And Meme Lord, I was that a Hex Flash or was that a Flash out of Nemesis? I guess.
It was a Flash. You're right.
Yeah, I thought I saw a Flash, and so now Nemesis flashed down again. He's going for another engage, but Shaleni of Demi, he's there.
Yeah, Shaleni of Demi doing such a great job of knocking away Asakura here, but he's going to take a huge amount of return damage in return, and that is going to be the jump immediately right on top of the Jhin here. He's going to take him incredibly low. Alistar's going to knock away, and the kill is going to go over to Jhin here. The 4th shot is going to grant him a double kill, and what started off as such a great engage for the N2o Barbarians turned into such a great turnaround for I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to be frank. That wasn't a clean 2v2 out of either team, but mid lane.
And Viper. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, that's a huge amount of burst damage. But Mechanic Maniac, that's so much damage. He's going to force Morgana Freeman to flash here. He's going to get underneath the turret. Oh, no. Morgana Freeman gets away by just the skin of their teeth. And that's not going to be a kill for Mechanic Maniac. Meanwhile, on the top lane, can I just give it a second to give it over to my color caster? For Christ's sake, come on. You're taking so much damage. That's going to be the flash. That's going to be the clap. Anonymous up in the top lane, clapping those Set cheeks with the hammer and with both hammers. That's going to be something really great for N2o Barbarians to see at this stage of the game.
And after about 2 hours of fighting, I'll take over. Hopefully your voice isn't too hoarse after that. Anonymous getting first blood for his team. Finally, N2o Barbarians are on the board as far as kills, right? But bot lane, that fight was so close, I want to touch on it quickly. That fight wasn't clean from either team, but at the end of the day, it did sort of showcase why it's hard to play Tristana Leona into that Alistar. Such good disengage. Now Leonja trying yet again to get a Scuttle Crab, but he's being denied Solar Flare.
Oh yeah, Solar Flare is going to land, but Sakura might have gone in a little too deep. Morgana Freeman coming in from the edge here, and also a teleport in from Meme Lord. This is a 5v4 here, and Lux is going to be the first to fall, and Master Yi is going to be the second. 2-for-0 in that team fight. Very well played by I Don't Know there.
Very well played by I Don't Know as a team. Meme Lord, I love the teleport especially. I don't know if that was sort of a coordinated call that Meme Lord was like, hey, I have TP advantage. Nanamoose can't be here. He teleported to lane. Let's make a play. But that is what happened. 5 versus 4 now. N2o Barbarians down 7 kills to 1. And now it's Mechanic Maniac, who was sort of the one stalwart that was still strong for this team. He has now died, and he is getting bullied off of his bottom side jungle a little bit. The first Scuttle Crab of the game finally getting picked up by Leonja in that bottom side after that fight. So things are starting to fall apart a little bit for N2o Barbarians. They do still have good scaling from the Yi if he can get online, but we're so far from that point, right? And there's a pretty significant gold lead starting to materialize for I Don't Know. About 2,000 gold separating these teams now.
You might have. I'm still trying to. For a second, I was like looking at set to see which of the sets had won, and it said Shadow Assassin had won, and I'm like, that's no way that's already done, right?
Oh,
I can't even
Freeman.
tell. Yeah.
So Morgana Freeman trying to get some vision on the Herald. Herald is actually being taken right now by N2o Barbarians. And meanwhile, Leonja on the bottom side of the map taking his Krugs, totally blissfully unaware of that, trying to play on this dragon instead. So a little sneaky Herald take from Barbarians is probably going to go unpunished. Or is it? Dragon instantly started up here by Leonja, and it's going to melt pretty quick. And meanwhile, topside, Ornhorn.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be Meme Lord knocked up into the air. He's taken so much damage already. That's a huge Haymaker shield.
Oh, my gosh.
He's going to suplex N2o Barbarians into the wall. Anonymous might have taken just a little too long there. And what started off as a great engagement immediately turned around into I Don't Know's favor. And they're going to pick up a Drake for themselves as well. So, yeesh.
I mean, still some good news for the N2o Barbarians, right? The consolation prize of 2 turret plates picked up in the pockets of Mechanic Maniac, but might get shut down in his own jungle here. Morgana Freeman, excuse me, once again, taking advantage of that mid lane priority, roaming up into the river, denying some vision control, denying some jungle control from the Barbarians. Might walk into a 1v2. I think he wins it, though.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to throw out a Q and use that explosive plant to get away there. That's going to be a pretty easy getaway for him, so maybe he doesn't win the 1v2 there. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of defensive capabilities, and even though they haven't had like the cleanest engagements here, they do still deal a lot of damage. You still got to respect the amount of damage that Lux and Master Yi can be be at this stage of the
especially game. Mechanic Maniac. He actually hurts a surprising amount, right? Got some lethality, get us picked up. The serrated Dirk. He hits a little bit. Mid lane, no Viper.
N2o Viper. That's just staying in lane just a little too long, and that is going to be a kill going over to Morgana Freeman once again. Now level 10. This is definitely what you do not want to be seeing at this stage of the game.
Oh no, yeah, he's 4-0. The Diana is insanely strong at this point. And even bot lane, Half-Hazardous and Shalenal of Demi getting not an insignificant lead over Asakura and Nemesis, getting some turret plates, getting a little bit of a CS lead. So the map, the bottom half of the map is going quite well for I Don't Know. On top side of the map, not going so well. Anonymous did pick up first turret, but honestly, if you're I Don't Know, who cares? It's an Ornn.
Yeah.
Ooh, Master Yi.
Mechanic Maniac. That's also a flash in from the Leona as well. They're going to stun up the Jhin here, and he's already incredibly low, and he's going to be going down to Tristana here. Tristana doing a great job of kiting away the Kayn here. Going to take him pretty close to the turret. Going to force him to pull out of the wall here with that Leona E. And now here comes Diana in from the mid lane. She's looking for something here, but hasn't quite found it yet. A bunch of flashes have already been used, and it looks like she's already going back to the mid lane. But that is such a huge pickup for the N2o Barbarians here. Okay,
or is she?
Oh, Meme Lord also looking to duel out the Ornn here, but he's already taken so much damage. How is he going to return it? There's the Haymaker Punch, going to deal a decent chunk of true damage here. They're still fighting over the blue buff. It's going to go over to Meme Lord, and Anonymous is going to back away here. And if you were paying attention to the bot lane, Morgana Freeman did get a little close, trying to pick up some damage here, but it doesn't look like it was very successful. So the N2o Barbarians are going to make out like bandits in the bot lane.
Yeah, 2 kills for N2o Barbarians. They don't really get punished much at all, except Viper did die again in the mid lane when left to that 1v1 against Morgana Freeman. So I don't know, it's still accelerating their mid lane gap, but in the jungle, Mechanic Maniac's extensive CS and experience lead is definitely manifesting itself in these 3 versus 3s, right? Leonja just not having really any presence in that fight, in that skirmish, as a pre-transformation Kayn down 40 CS to Mechanic Maniac. Like the difference in presence between those two junglers was everything. It was momentous in that fight. It changed the game big time.
Yeah, for sure. And we're also starting to see it manifest in the items as well, as Duskblade of Drakthar is picked up by Master Yi here. And meanwhile, for Kayn, he doesn't even have boots yet.
No, it's huge for sure. The good news for I don't know is once Leonja gets transformation, assuming he goes red Kayn.
He has already transformed. He is already a red Kayn.
Nice. Okay, so that utility is going to be there regardless. He'll be pretty useful regardless. It's not as feast or famine as Blue Kayn, not as reliant on being ahead as a champion like Master Yi would be in terms of like I need my items. But at the same time, it always feels good to be hitting those item spikes sooner rather than later. It's never a good thing to have your jungler down 50 CS.
Yeah, and taking a look at the map right here, we do have a bit of a lane swap here. Leona going into the top lane and Anonymous hanging out in the bot side here. Ooh,
look at that collapse.
Also, oh yeah, that ultimate is being popped. That's the Oranhorn as well. He's going to get the knock up on both. He's going to Alpha Strike right into the middle, and Jhin is immediately going to flash away here. Alistar is going to use his headbutt to get Master Yi out of the fight, and that might be the peel that I don't know is looking for, as no one goes down in this fight just yet.
No one goes down yet, but a nice flank from Morgana.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a re-entry as well. That's going to be Lux maybe picking up a kill, but the final flash just goes a little too late. An Alpha Strike here, still dealing a decent chunk of damage, but Morgana is going to pick up the kill here. And here comes the Kayn ultimate, going to look for something here. Ornn still trying to fight on the backside here, while Jhin takes out Lux on the backside, trying to make this as much as an even trade as he possibly can, dealing so much, but not enough. That is a 4 for 1 in the bottom lane, and you gotta hate to see it.
You hate to see it, but Shinkari, take a look at the map. I'm sorry. Nemesis was top lane. What kind of a lane assignment is that? Why is Leona top lane when Dragon's spawning on the map? Like, that was such a weird fight for N2o Barbarians to take, and it was the N2o Barbarians that took that fight. Sure, the re-engage was on I don't know's terms. It was a nice flank from Morgana and a headbutt from Shalenal. But at the end of the day, it was the N2o that tried to pick that fight with their support in the top lane, their primary engage. Why? Now Meme Lord on the receiving end of that primary engage should be okay. He's pretty strong.
Yeah, he's pretty strong, but is he strong enough to fight both a Tristana and a Leona? Tristana getting away as much as he can. Both flashes have been spent. Meme Lord also used his Strider. Here comes in the heal and also the dash. There's the ultimate, gonna land back in, gonna find the kill onto Tristana finally, and now Nemesis is now by himself fighting Meme Lord, and looks like they're going to get away, but here comes the Oranhorn in from the side. The E is not going to land, but he is going to be knocked into the air, gonna get brittle, and he's gonna go down to Anonymous finally. 4 members devoted top lane in order to find the kill on the Meme Lord.
Yeah, 4 members devoted top lane. Meanwhile, I don't know, picking up their 3rd dragon of the game, and that kill that did go over to N2o Barbarians, not finding its way onto Mechanic Maniac. He's still sitting on only 1 kill this far into the game. He is getting pretty big in CS, right? 140 now, got the Duskblade finished, but at the end of the day, the lead for I don't know does feel like it's getting a little bit bigger. The gold gap is widening a little bit. The dragon gap widening a little bit. I don't know if they can win this fight though.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to force some flashes away as Diana immediately flashes, and they have been able to secure these Rift Heralds fairly well, but it doesn't look like they've been able to use them very much to their advantage. They have been able to free up Ornn from laning in the top side, but you know, we haven't really got some good roams or even some good lane swaps like we saw. Maybe Nemesis being top lane was the idea of just swapping the bot lane, but Asakura just spent a little too much time in the bot lane. So we now see Rift Herald being thrown mid.
Yeah, that is going to guarantee this turret goes down. Heck, Shelly's not even going to have a chance to charge into the turret. Maybe a bit of a waste. There's a nice collapse coming through from I don't know. Barbarians got to be a little bit careful here. They're going to wisely back off, escort Shelly into that hit on the inner mid lane turret. But at the end of the day, that was another Rift Herald that really didn't get that much value. Like, sure, you got the mid lane outer turret, but you got it before Shelly even crashed. That's just Tristana. That's just Tristana damage.
I mean, that I think that's definitely valuable. That inner mid turret doesn't heal. It's taken a huge chunk of its HP bar. It's nearly dead. I think it has about 20% of its HP bar left. Like, that's pretty huge. Win a team fight, and you could very easily pick up that objective there.
You know what? You're right, because not only will you get that objective if you win a team fight, but also just if Tristana can spend 5 seconds alone with that turret. Not even 3 seconds. Like, Tristana is the turret killer. Top lane, Nemesis looking for an engage onto Meme Lord.
Yeah, he's going to find it, but was it beneficial? He's going to spend the flash here, and here comes a teleport. Mechanic Maniac also ulting in. He's going to immediately dash in. There's the Facebreaker going to be able to find the kill. They're going to throw him away a little too early, maybe, but that's going to be the Ornhorn being spent as well. Maybe a little too many resources to find the kill on the set here, but a kill nonetheless. That's going to be a kill going over to the N2o Barbarians.
Mid lane Morgana Freeman trying to trade back this turret as a bit of a punishment to the Barbarians, so both teams walk away with something under their belt. You're right, though. That's a lot of ultimates burned to kill a set, so any team fight happening in the next 60 to 90 seconds might spell bad news for the Barbarians. Here goes Leonja trying to pick that fight.
Yeah, the Leona has been able to find the stun, but not the Solar Flare stun as well. That's a resource down, and Nemesis has already taken insanely low. That's going to be the final spark, finding the kill onto Leonja here, and now here comes N2o Viper in from the side here, going to throw out a Q, but going to find that it's maybe a losing fight and immediately walking away as Haphazardous is going to be able to find the kill onto Ornn here. 2 for 1 so far, and Asakura might be the next target if they're able to collapse close enough. They're still hunting for that kill, even though we're looking at Haphazardous right now.
Asakura should be okay. Might get himself out of dodge on this one. I want to take a look at the objective timers on this Summoner's Rift, though, because next dragon is spawning in 45 seconds, and that team fight means that I don't know is the team that certainly has priority over getting sufficient control in this bottom side jungle. N2o Barbarians can be forced to face check into Fog of War, into potentially all 5 members of I Don't Know. This is not an ideal situation if you are trying to contest a Dragon Soul, but N2o Barbarians have been forced into it anyway. They will have all their ultimates back up for this next fight, whereas actually I Don't Know will be lacking the Curtain Call and maybe even the Umbral Trespass, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and they're definitely putting up a death brush here, and considering their team composition and how far ahead that Diana here, that is definitely beneficial for them. Doesn't look like N2o Barbarians have fallen for it just yet. The dragon has spawned. N2o Nemesis might have found the death brush, and they're just like, oh, they're still going for it. Okay, here we go. Here comes the death brush. They know that they're there. Here's the Ornhorn. They're going to be able to find the dragon, but the other team is going to be able to find a kill here. Ornn is now trying to tank up as much as he can. Final spark comes out from the crossbow. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough here. Anonymous trying to peel away and trading a dragon for 2 kills is what's going to happen in this team fight.
2 kills, and look at the positioning from I Don't Know. They might be trying to get a Baron out of this one as well. Mechanic Maniac dead for 20 more seconds. Not a ton of DPS from the side of I Don't Know, but it looks like they're going to try, at least clear some vision out. As Asakura and Viper are alive, that's a decent amount of poke damage that can come over this wall. I don't know if I Don't Know can take this Baron, but they're going to try.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to make the call, right? 3 versus 5. You have a Diana who does a decent chunk of damage. It's definitely, oh, she's not even on there. She's just looking for Asakura here. She's going to be able to find it. That's going to be legendary Morgana. 8-0 and 5 now. Ornn now waiting on the side. Might try to use his Ornhorn to sneak a kill.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it. You're right. Meanwhile, Mechanic Maniac is here. The old final spark comes across, but it's not going to be able to find anything. Morgana is going to go down, the first death of the game. Mechanic Maniac might be looking for more here. He's still ulting. He's still running. Can he find the
that's an Alistar. What are you doing?
Alistar, and immediately going to get punished by the rest of the team. Maybe just a little too adventurous here from the Master Yi, as 2 kills for 1, and losing a Baron as well is going to be the results of this fight here.
Okay, so first of all, Mechanic Maniac, it did not take a crystal ball to know that was exactly what was going to happen when you alpha striked on top of whoever. Did he go on Shaleno? Like, I think he went on the Alistar. Like, you just can't do that. Number 1, bruh. Number 2, that was 1,000 shutdown gold that actually did go onto Mechanic Maniac when he killed Morgana Freeman. So something of a reward for him on that one. A little bit more gold in the Master Yi's pockets. He is legitimately getting very scary, but you see how easy it can be to shut this Master Yi down. So much crowd control from the Alistar, from the Red Kayn, from the Set, from the Jhin, from even the Diana, that it can be hard for Mechanic Maniac to find ways into these fights. And now Baron buff, Meme Lord all by himself up here.
Yeah, that's going to be the Oranhorn spin. He's knocked into the air. That's a huge Haymaker shield, but Mechanic Maniac, so much damage. Anonymous there as well. He's going to go down almost immediately, and that's one Baron buff dealt with.
A little bit of disrespect from I don't know. That's not the first time that Meme Lord has gotten caught on the other side of the map with his pants down by himself. I think that's maybe all of his deaths actually have been almost exactly what we just saw happen. But his team is getting rewards for it on the other side of the rift. Bottom lane, Baron buff minions putting in some work into this turret. Bottom lane inner turret gonna fall to this one. But now, for some reason, I don't know, feeling ambitious, feeling strong. They're still pushing, but they got to be very weary of getting collapsed on 5 versus 4 because Meme Lord is dead and does not have teleport for maybe 20 or 30 more seconds. But they're looking for the fight anyway.
Yeah, they might have found Mechanic Maniac, and he's immediately CC'd to oblivion as he is knocked into the air so many times. He's going to immediately fall, and that's a massive damage dealer for the N2o Barbarians, just completely gone.
Yeah, that's so much of their gold right now is on this Master Yi. Mechanic Maniac getting caught like that means that I don't know we're going to be able to push potentially into an inhibitor in the base of the Barbarians, or at the very least take down this mid lane inner turret, continue establishing their vision dominance in the jungle of the Barbarians, keep finding all these deep wards, all these jungle camps, take Red buff away, take Raptors away, take everything you can, and begin the process of starving the Barbarians so they cannot leave their base. In 1 minute and 2 seconds, the next dragon of the game is going to spawn. If I don't know can get their hands on it, it will be a Cloud Soul for them, which is needless to say, a big deal. Cloud Soul is always nice. It's pretty phenomenal on a champion like Diana or Alistar or even Kayn or Set. That movement speed it can be vital. The ultimate cooldown reduction. There's so many big important ultimates to reduce the cooldown of. So I don't know. In a very strong spot, I think the one win condition for the Barbarians is Mechanic Maniac somehow popping off in a fight, but he's having such a hard time doing that, right? There's so many tools in I don't know's champion kits to just shut him down.
Yeah, and on top of that, I feel like he's just devoting too much time to the jungle. Like, it's 27 minutes into the game. Like, those wolves are not going to be as important as you defending turrets like we saw. He was, like, when the bottom outer turret was being sieged and being taken, he was over by raptors. And then when he got caught out, he was farming wolves. Like, it's 27 minutes into the game. Just leave them alone.
Ooh, Dragon started up.
Yeah, it has been started up. It's been pulled all the way out. And it doesn't look like they are, I don't know, is 100% here yet. Solar Flare comes in. Here comes the Oranhorn as well. They're going to focus the dragon, and they're going to be able to find it. That's their second dragon of the game, and it looks like the fight is starting to turn in their favor as Master Yi's already found 2 kills. N2o Viper Owls are doing a decent chunk of damage for themselves. It's going to be the exhaust coming out of Leonja, but now Mechanic Maniac is down, and this might be what Barbarians are going to be picked apart one by one as I don't know has finally found their way back into this fight. 1 for 4, N2o Viper, the only member left.
And Dragon doesn't do much for you if you lose the game because of it. Now Viper, the last one alive, trying to run away from Haphazardous. A forced shot into a deadly flourish. Flash from Meme Lord just for good grins, or just for good grins, just for good. What's the say? I don't know.
Good measure.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm going to say it was 100% to steal the kill. I 100% think Meme Lord was like, no, I want this. Let me have this one. And then Jhin just immediately took the kill. And then Meme Lord spent Flash in order to try to take it for himself. So it looks like now...
let's recap that last fight, right? Good news for N2o Barbarians. They got the dragon. Bad news for N2o Barbarians. No more mid lane inhibitor. No more top lane inner turret. And by the way, everyone died and Baron is spawning in 30 seconds.
Yes.
So in terms of like the bad sides, definitely are several for the Barbarians. They are once again looking at potentially being choked out of their entire topside jungle as this Baron is spawning. There have been some late resets coming through from Haphazardous and Morgana Freeman and Leonja, which means that this Baron won't really realistically be in the control of I don't know for at least 30 more seconds or so. So I think a bit of a misplay there.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how this pans out, because I think even though the N2o Barbarians haven't been winning team fights, they have been able to secure some of these objectives. And maybe if they're able to maybe come out just a smidgen bit more alive and stealing these objectives, then maybe they might be able to make this game just last a little bit longer than I don't know wants to, because, you know, this Master Yi is only going to get more deadly the more time that goes on.
It doesn't matter though. He just gets shut down. He can't get in the fights. I think Soleno Ledemi has done a pretty good job of keeping Mechanic Maniac out of these fights, which is really his only role this game. Baron did get briefly started up, but I don't know. But I think it's just a bait, right? The blue trinket was clear. They wanted to make sure that the Barbarians thought they were on it, and they were rewarded greatly for that. They get an Oranhorn out of Nanamus. I do want to point out, I don't know. This doesn't work if you don't have a controller in the pit. You got to be able to clear out this vision, because now the Barbarians just know that you aren't on Baron. So you can't play the game again. You got to just go for it.
Yeah, they're trying to do a strategy of just death brush and try to force them in here.
You can't do this if they can see the Baron. They can see the Baron. There's a ward on it. Put a pink ward down.
They just have a lot of tools to focus, to find that they're not actually there, and that can counter that play. So it seems
just
like
take the fight anyway. Just start the
Mechanic
Baron.
Maniac getting in from the side here. He might have found the Jin, but is forced to flash away immediately. N2o Nemesis going to be forced to get the tank of the shot here, but that's not going to be enough. A teleport coming in from Meme Lord, as well as this fight is once again turned on its head by I don't know. They're finally looking for the last kill. N2o Viper is pulled in here. Anonymous is looking to try to turn something onto Meme Lord, but it's not going to be enough. Leon, now he's going to be the focus. Meme Lord tanking up 2 turrets here. I don't even care. Let's keep going. Let's try to end this game as only one member is alive.
Yeah, Anonymous desperately trying to hold the line, but like you said, 1 versus 4, there's only so much you can do. A noble effort, but all for naught. I don't know I don't know a lot of things, but what I do know is that I don't know are taking the win in game 1 of this series.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a really well-played game by them. And I think you were correct with your bets here. I think having a team composition with lots of easy clickable CC that can shut down a very close range champion like Master Yi has been truly beneficial for I don't know here. And, you know, I think, at least for myself, what I saw as the big problem from the N2o Barbarians is that they kept tunnel visioning on a specific target and kind of ignoring all the other signs around them, especially indicative in that last fight where Mechanic Maniac was like, oh, I have the Jin, everyone get on the Jin, and then suddenly Anonymous is like, oh, well, I'm Ornn, I guess I can throw an Ornhorn, I guess, and Nemesis flashes through the team and tries to get on top of the Jin, but they're not able to find the kill. They're able to peel for the Jin insanely well and able to turn the fight on its head, because now the main damage dealer is gone, one of the main CC forces is gone, and now all that's left is a Lux, a Tristana, and an Ornn.
And an Lux and a Tristana and an Ornn aren't super scary, especially when they are pretty much all behind. Viper getting kind of annihilated this mid lane matchup. Morgan Freeman having a pretty good game, but honestly, everybody on I don't know had a pretty good game. I think, you know, if we're trying to pick an MVP, for me, it's either Morgana Freeman or Soleno Ledemi. I feel like almost every time the Alistar needed to be somewhere, he was there, and he was ready to deny Mechanic Maniac from access to the fight. And that was really so crucial, because Mechanic Maniac did hurt. He did hurt a lot on the Yi. He was well farmed. He had good items. The couple times we did see him get the auto attack a few times, he did damage. He chunked, but then he just got denied. He got shoved away. He got headbutted away. He got pulverized, knocked in the air, showstoppered into his back line. Like, there's just all this stuff flying at him, and he just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. And, you know, we mentioned in Champ Select, you know what champion is really good against CC? Olaf. You know, a champion does do a lot of damage still, even though he's mostly kind of tanky. Olaf. You know, as much as I loved this Master Yi pick, and I loved at least seeing Mechanic Maniac do somewhat well on it, I do think that Olaf probably would have been the better pick.
I would probably agree with that. We're going to go to a short break. I think And then we're going to hit you in a few minutes with game number 2 of this series. But for now, I Don't Know is up 1-0 over the N2o Barbarians. And will the Master Yi make a second appearance in game 2? I hope not, but maybe you'll disagree. We'll have to wait and see. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are once again having a clash between two titans, the N2o Barbarians, and I Don't Know. We are in game 2, and picks and bans are already underway, but it's looking pretty similar to what we saw before.
Oh, I'm just realizing now that I didn't pull up the pro draft yet, so I don't know whether it looks similar. I got it now.
Yeah,
Boom,
so
you're right.
Morgana,
Udyr,
Rel,
Jax,
and
Jhin.
Jhin.
I got it. I don't need. No, I'm doing it.
Okay, no, you got it. You got it. Okay, I'm off. Okay, you got it.
Okay. Yeah, nah, you can do it. I'm just kidding. You can do it. No, okay.
Can I really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Morgana, Rel, and Jhin have been banned by the N2o Barbarians. Udyr, Jax, and Nautilus being banned away by I Don't Know. This is a pretty much exact same picks and bans so far. So let's see if the picks are anything to say. I mean, the only thing difference here is that Jhin has been banned away by the N2o Barbarians. Clearly not a champion they want to see again.
And that makes me think that the N2o Barbarians are probably rethinking quite a lot of their draft, because mid lane didn't go well. Bot lane didn't go well because not only because of the Jhin, but also because of the Alistar. So, do you not draft the Master Yi again? Do you draft something to counter the Alistar? What about mid lane, right? Do you not draft the Lux? Your mid laner doesn't really play that much. If the Katarina, not the Katarina, if the Seraphine and the Lux are taken away, or if the Seraphine is taken away, what do? You pick the Lux again into a Diana? Is that going to work? What's to stop, I don't know, from picking the Diana and running it down again? Because that's sort of what happened in game 1. The Hecarim is locked in, first pick now for N2o Barbarians, which was banned away in first rotation in that first game. So I think that's a good adaptation there.
Yeah, Senna now also being picked up for I don't know. And I honestly, you just have to pick up Seraphine here, right? I feel like that's such an easy champion to just kind of blind pick regardless, because it can flex between support and the mid lane here. We have wide open Alistar being hovered now.
It just clicked to me that the Seraphine is still open, and that was banned in first rotation in game 1. And the Seraphine is probably the preferred mid laner of Viper, who was the mid laner for N2o Barbarians in game 1. He was subbed in place of Guilty, and his pool is relatively limited. So not seeing priority on getting him on comfort picks is a little bit surprising to me. I'm also a little bit surprised by the Alistar priority, because Alistar is, in my mind, not that great of a blind pick. He's good into heavy engage, which I thought the pick worked well for I don't know in game 1, because they picked it after the Tristana and Leona were revealed. It's like, okay, boom, we got the Alistar, strong disengage, our bot laner can stay alive. This game, it's picked into a Kayn and a Senna, neither of which are really heavy engage champions. They like to play slower, further back. The Alistar isn't as big of a deal. The Galio, that is an engage option, so it could be good there. Yeah,
and now we have the second rounds of bans. As there she goes, there she goes. There goes Seraphine right off the bat. And it's interesting to me, especially after watching pro play, after watching so many games on Style Esports of varying different degrees of skill, that Seraphine has been open and available for that. She made it to phase 2 bans.
Yeah, that's always a surprise to me, because Seraphine is just really good. I don't need to be the nail on the head too much, right? I think everyone knows it at this point. She's been good for a long time. Moonstone Renewer is a disgusting item. So is Staff of Flowing Water. Seraphine is a good flex pick. She's good support, mid, even freaking bot. Even as an AD carry, she's good. She's good like everywhere. But we will move on, because she has been banned along with the Set and the Malphite. So no more Set in the top lane for Meme Lord. He's going to have to find something else to play.
Right. And if anything, like, to put the last little note about Seraphine is that she's just super easy to play, that even if you don't like have a ton of practice on her, a halfway decent Seraphine is still very, very good. Just as long as you point your ultimate in the right direction, I'm sure that you will find a very, very strong ultimate.
Seraphine go burr. I don't hate this at all. I quite like Gnar. I think Gnar is a good champion. And I also, Meme Lord, one of his champions that he has practiced a bit in recent memory is that Gnar. Gnar is a good blind pick. Gnar is just one of the best top laners in the game right now. He's incredibly versatile. He's safe. A lot of the other strong top laners like Camille have seen nerfs in recent memory. Gnar is not in that boat. He has maintained his presence. He's also He's also just a strong side laner. And right now, I don't know, have drafted a team composition that plays pretty far back with the Senna and has good disengage with the Galio and the Kayn. And I think pairing that sort of siege-esque type of team composition with a strong side laner can be a fantastic option for making sure that you have pressure in a 4-1 style composition where the 4 can stay safe in the middle lane or somewhere else, and Gnar can just be enabled to pressure the side lane and hopefully win the 1v1, which he should be able to do against the Tryndamere. But my one caveat to that would be that Tryndamere is like, okay, I don't think Tryndamere is that good, but Tryndamere is the preferred champion of Anonymous. I would hesitate to call him a one trick, but you can talk about that if you want to. But this guy's Tryndamere is to be feared a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he might not have like a million games on Tryndamere, but the games that he does play are very in his favor, and he does have a decent win percentage on Tryndamere here. And also, if I do as the self-appointed resident flavor judge of Style Esports, the fact that N2o Barbarians have picked the Barbarian character for their team, I give that even if they lose, that's a flavor win. That's a flavor win.
That definitely gets some style points, but unfortunately, style points aren't what win a series in Style Esports. You gotta actually win the game and make the enemy nexus explode. And in game one, the Barbarians unfortunately failed to make that happen. Now, I don't know how you're feeling about these new team compositions. We disagreed a little bit in game one as to what comp we thought was better. In game two, for me, I like Barbarians composition more than I liked their composition in game one, but I still think I'm going to give the edge to I don't know. I think Senna Galio is maybe their weakest link in terms of Lucian Alistar is very scary, but Senna is a good carry into Alistar, and Galio is a nice disengage option to keep the Senna alive. And in the mid lane, Ahri is not a bad pick into the Anivia. Anivia is a strong champion, but Ahri has multiple ways to get in and around that the Glacial Storm, to get in and around the wall, to dodge and juke out of Anivia's stuff, and all the while be a constant damage threat and just stay safe while doing it. And in the top side of the map, Gnar is assuming even skill level in a vacuum, that Gnar should do quite well into the Tryndamere in the 1v1 in the side lane. Now, that could definitely change. That could be up for grabs because it is Anonymous' Tryndamere, which makes it that much scarier. But overall, in a vacuum, I think I don't know's team comp is once again better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, honestly. I think if anything, to me, I think both of these team compositions are a little disjointed. Hecarim and Alistar want to be engaging, so does Tryndamere and Lucian, whereas Anivia just feels like something tacked on that like maybe synergizes, but when Lucian and Tryndamere and Hecarim and Alistar are a million miles ahead, Anivia is not going to be dealing as much damage as you'd like. And meanwhile, on the other side, Galio wants to be with a champion that is a heavy engager like a Hecarim, like an Olaf, like an Udyr, like a Nautilus, Malphite, like a bunch of these characters that we're seeing banned and even picked away. Sure, the heroic entrance is a good peeling tool, but it is a much better follow-up to hard engage, and I don't know really doesn't have that. And
well, I would say it's a very strong disengage tool against an Alistar who's headbutt pulverizing on top of a carry. That is, I think Galio, like you're 100% right. Galio is great when paired with champions like Jarvan or Camille who are going in, and you got that heroic entrance to combo with that. But I do think the pick functions very well as a disengage option here.
Right. Agreed. And I think it's more of I might be valuing the heroic entrance more than the other abilities, because when I think of Galio as a disengage tool, I'm thinking taunt, I'm thinking Justice Punch.
The taunt is huge. Like look at Barbarians team comp here. They're all short range. Like every one of them is going to be pretty easy for the Galio to get within taunt distance of. Otherwise, like, assuming a team fight, Tryndamere, Lucian, Hecarim, all these champions, even the Alistar, you can taunt away the stun from Alistar. You can taunt away all kinds of stuff from everybody else. I've been rambling for way too long, and I sort of cut you off, so I'm sorry for that. But but I do really like, for the 700th time, I think I don't know's comp is really good.
Yeah, I think I don't know's comp is a little more cohesive than N2o Barbarians. I would have liked a little more, maybe a different support, maybe a different mid laner here from N2o Barbarians, but I still think that putting Anonymous on a comfort champion, as well as taking away the Alistar from I don't know, was very smart, and pairing it with a burst heavy AD carry like Lucian does lend itself to a pretty decent team comp. Right? And I don't know also has some interesting engage tools between Ahri and Gnar, and has some decent peeling tools between Kayn and Galio for the Senna. So these are two team comps I think that are really, really cool in their own ways, but I do think that I will give it over to I don't know.
The biggest thing for me that the Barbarians have going for them is one, Tryndamere. I am excited to see Anonymous' Tryndamere. It is legendary, and we'll see if it lives up to the hype. So that's one thing. Two, Asakura and Nemesis in the bot lane. being on a Lucian and an Alistar, as opposed to in the first game, it was Tristana and Leona. I think the Lucian Alistar is a bit more potency early, and I don't care his team comp doesn't have as many ways of dealing with the Leona, especially in lane, or with the Alistar in lane, as they did with dealing with the Leona and the Tristana in game one. So there's windows, I think, for the Barbarians to win, maybe through the bottom lane and maybe through the top lane. But aside from that, and there is something to be said for ease of execution, right? Comfort champions, Anonymous being on Tryndamere, Mechanic Maniac also, the Hecarim was banned away in game one. That's worth pointing out. This time it wasn't. He does fancy himself a Hecarim player every now and again. So Hecarim, Tryndamere, getting some comfort for your top half of the map, that could be a very, very good thing, especially considering the Barbarians had a fairly strong top half of the map anyway in game one. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And we will see in just a little bit, as we are going to just jump to a quick break. But don't go anywhere. We will be right back with N2o Barbarians versus I Don't Know. Game 2 in just a little bit. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 6. We are now in Game 2 of the N2o Barbarians versus I Don't Know. We have swapped sides. We have brand new teams for both. And with the line of scrimmage is being drawn across the river as we now are into this Game 2 already. And is there anything that sticks out in your mind as we are looking at these two teams already, Baymax?
Well, Viper's already off to a better start in the game one because he's got a starting item. So there's that.
Yep.
I mentioned in draft that I thought that Barbarians once again had a worse team comp for a variety of reasons, but I like it more than in game one for pretty much one reason, and that reason is Anonymous is on the Tryndamere, and I guess Mechanic Maniac is on the Hecarim. So the one reason would be like comfortability, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got your players on some champions that they might be a little bit more used to, have a little bit more confidence on, and playmaking ability on, especially since I mentioned it earlier in game one. In game one, the Barbarians' strongest aspect was their top half of the map. The Mechanic Maniac and Anonymous were doing quite well, even on champions they maybe weren't as comfortable on. So I'm looking to them to make things happen in this game for the Barbarians, but it might be tough because I don't know, have drafted a team composition that does a lot of things well, can fight from a distance and do it safely, and sort of set up a 4-1 in such a way that the 4 are very difficult to engage on, and the meme lord, Gnar, should win in the side lane, assuming a vacuum. The Tryndamere Gnar matchup overall, definitely the Gnar outscales. Now, it is Anonymous' Tryndamere, so that could change things, but overall, I don't know's team comp.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we already have some early aggression here by Anonymous getting onto Meme Lord. Man, that's so much damage. Already taking him to half HP. And man, if you're a melee versus ranged matchup, you love to see that every day of the week.
100%. And this is probably the hardest part of the game for Meme Lord. The early levels, you got to be a little bit careful, of a bit more respect. One thing that I would mention, I actually play quite a bit of Gnar myself. I am 100% taking Fleet Footwork instead of Grasp in this matchup to provide that little bit of extra sustainability in lane and to provide a little bit of extra movement speed to keep myself alive in kites, because that kiting is so important, especially in the Tryndamere, who's a champion who's just trying to run at you over and over and over again. And speaking of running,
here comes Leontia, came from the side here. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to find the knockup. He's
Nemesis
going to dash forward, get a huge amount of damage. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Nemesis going to get in there. And that's going to be the huge taunt. We talked about that from Galio. The exhaust comes down, but maybe onto the wrong target. And they're going to back away, but now both N2o Barbarians are very, very low.
And I think we're seeing a similar problem for the Barbarians in the bot lane as game one, which is you got a heavy engage bot lane against a lane that is really good against strong engage. And I think Shalana of Demi is in his comfort zone. He's thriving when he's on champions, one like the Alistar, two like the Galio. He's going for it again. Hex Flash from Nemesis. I don't know who wins this.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a great knock-up onto the Senna here, and this might be what Lucian is looking for to get away, and he's just going to get away with the skin of his teeth. So that's going to be, once again, another fairly even trade back and forth, as now almost all the summoner spells on the bot side are now down.
Asakura getting bullied, but Schlenel and Haphazard is going to be a little bit safe. Mechanic Maniac is in river. They're actually spotting him out. The charm's going to land.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a huge amount of damage in CC. Mechanic Maniac going to try to get away as fast as possible. I mean, he got multiple flashes. He got the mid, and he got the 80 carry flash at the end of that, but First Blood is going to go over to I don't know, and this might be the lead that they need in the very early game stages of this game.
Yeah, First Blood, and for Leonja, who is once again on the cane, he gets his first Scuttle Crab of the game like 5 minutes earlier than in game one. So great news for him. 1-0 start for I don't know. The bot lane off to a great start. No flashes would be a big deal potentially, except Nemesis and Asakura also are getting out traded and also don't have flash. So there's not that much threat of an all-in coming through from the Barbarians bot lane at this point of the game.
Yeah, and this is definitely something that's really good for I don't know, because we talked about something that we talked about in the previous game was Mechanic Maniac was doing a very good job of counter junk. Oh yeah, Anonymous taking a huge chunk of damage here, forced to flash away, and you know Mega Gnar is finally able to compete with the Tryndamere in the top lane.
Yeah, Anonymous is in a real bad spot right now. He's got no ultimate. He's level 4. He's going to get zoned off a decent amount of CS. Have to use his teleport here. Mechanic Maniac looking for a gank, or is he just looking to try to stay alive? 3 versus 3?
Yeah, he's going to have to get away here. Haphazard, it looks like he was going in for a gank and then immediately was spotted out, and a counter gank was coming in behind him, so he couldn't exactly engage on a Haphazard is here, but looks like that might be what they are looking for in the bot lane, so Kayn might be hovering around here.
Kayn may be hovering around, but so may the Hecarim. And now Nemesis looks like he's thinking about Hex Flashing over this wall, but once again, might think twice about Hex Flashing over and over again into a Galio, who's just going to stuff the engage pretty much every time. And for now, bottom lane seems pretty in control. I don't know.
Here comes the Hex Flash. Oh, yeah, he's going right in. That's going to be the pulverize, going to knock him into the air. The headbutt's going to knock Senna towards Lucian. She's already insanely low here. Can they get the last bit of damage, though? It doesn't look like they're going to be able to. And now the Sholomol of Dummy is now the target, but they're going to immediately get away. So what started off as a really great engagement didn't really net them anything.
Look at Morgana
Freeman coming in from the side here. The punch is going to get pretty close. The taunt is going to land on Alistar here. He's going to be taken incredibly low. He's going to be charmed. That's going to be the damage to follow up as well. Alistar is going to go down to Galio.
And Viper, trying to match the roam, is running down, but he's a bird. He is not a fox lady. He has nowhere near as many tools. He's going to get charmed up in the tri-bush. He might have to flash himself. Uses the barrier, uses the flash, going to stay alive. But I don't know. Running the bottom side of the map and flashing back towards this top side. For now, Meme Lord is in the lead top lane as well. Hasn't even recalled yet, by the way. Anonymous has recalled, has picked up 2 longswords, still isn't really able to get lane control. Meanwhile, Dragon started up. Meme Lord has teleport advantage if he needs to get down to this dragon, which he doesn't, because I don't know, have bot priority, they have mid priority. They're going to be taking this dragon away. Meme Lord probably can hold on to that teleport, not even use it to get top lane. I don't think he even has to use it. He'll just walk back. He'll keep holding on to that teleport advantage, which he did use quite well in game 1. If you'll think back to one of the earliest team fights, it was won off of a 5v4 with Meme Lord having TP advantage on the set. So I don't know. Across the map here, I think having an even stronger performance than in game 1. Leonja's even ahead in CS in the jungle. That wasn't happening in game 1. Mid lane, 10 CS lead for Morgana Freeman. Bot lane, a bit of a CS gap in favor of Asakura, but in terms of lane pressure, it's been a haphazardous and Sholomol of Demi all day, all the time. And about a 1,500 gold lead now, 7.5 minutes in, and first dragon getting picked up pretty easy for I don't know.
This does put them at about a 1.5k gold lead for themselves, and at this point, I'm interested to see why Anivia is roaming, trying to match the roams from Ahri, especially at level 6. I feel like if you're playing Anivia, you're not going to probably roam as well as Ahri, and if you're going to match a roam and you're playing a champion that split pushes very well, just sit in lane, farm a million minions, take as many plays as you want. That has to be the play here. And trying to match an Ahri roam is definitely not what you want here. Anivia,
Anivia shoves quite hard.
The berry as well.
Anivia shoves quite hard, right? Shove mid lane wave, probably get a turret plate. Also, you got the ultimate available, can easily punish Leonja, take his Raptors away for showing on the bottom side of the map. You can not only get mid lane wave, not only get a play, probably get Raptors as well. And suddenly, 300 or 400 gold you've got sort of back in your pockets that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten. That's a kill right there. Like, that is fine, you know? That is probably the ideal trade for an Anivia, but instead Viper did try to roam, got punished for it, might die again.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be charmed up, and that's going to be taking a beat of damage there, but nothing really to follow up on there. That's going to be Morgana Freeman just trying to exert as much pressure in their lane as they can. As Anonymous in the top lane, going to be found out by maybe Leonja here. Now going to back away. The taunt is going to land on Alistar, though. That's a huge chunk of damage. He's going to flash forward. He's going to knock up and the pulverize, but there's not going to be a whole lot of follow-up damage from Lucian here, as the rest of the team is going to find maybe a bit of a follow-up, but not going to get there just in time.
And Nemesis flashing forward, not quite finding the knockup onto Haphazardous, who you got to find the knockup on, right? You can't look to engage on the Galio. The Senna will beat you down, and you will regret all of your life choices. So I think wise of him to disengage after that, but another good trade in favor of I don't know's bot lane. And on the top side of the map, holding it together, 3 versus 2 pretty well. It's Meme Lord and Leonja sort of making sure that Rift Herald is in their control.
Nemesis might be caught out here. That's going to be the taunt and a decent chunk of damage coming out from Senna here. The ultimate is going to come through, and that's going to be 1 kill going over to Haphazardous here. Now 1-0-1 might be behind in CS, but definitely caught up with that kill.
A kill is, I think, between 20 and 30 CS, somewhere in there, in terms of just like the flat gold value that comes with it. And plus, you know, the experience is good, and Asakura going to be forced to reset, might miss some more minions off of that. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, even though I don't know's bot lane is winning, Leon just says, I want to get into the action. I'm going to start this Herald. Our bot lane is not going to be the only side of the map that's winning. It's going to be jungle as well. And it looks like with Mechanic Maniac on the bottom half of the map, there's not going to be any sort of an answer coming through from the Barbarians. So not only did Dragon fall to I don't know, basically for free off of bottom mid priority, but the Rift Herald falling as well off of some sneaky macro plays in just a few seconds here.
Yeah, and that play is a 100% gamble. I mean, there's not a whole lot of vision inside N2o's jungle there, so they have no idea where Hecarim is. They're just guessing based on the fact that the Scuttle Crab was on the bottom side, but they definitely have vision of this Hecarim now, as two members from the bot lane are gonna try to engage on this Gromp here. He's gonna use the smite, not pick up the Gromp, and there is going to immediately go down. He's gonna use Onslaught of Shadows, but he's gonna get charmed up as Morgana Freeman picks up the kill onto Mechanical Maniac.
And I do want to point out, you're right. Like, it was a gamble. I don't know knew where Mechanic Maniac was, but it's not that much of a gamble because you got pressure top lane. Meme Lord is crashing a big wave into Anonymous's turret. You got pressure mid lane. Morgana Freeman is way stronger than Viper. So if Mechanic Maniac does show up, it's a 3 versus 3 that you win. So I still like that they started that Leonja did take initiative and start up that Herald. I think it was a fine play to make, even though it was a bit of a gamble as to where Mechanic Maniac actually was. Now, bottom side of the map, Leonja looking for a gank. Nemesis is going to get taunted up.
Oh, no. He's going to get taunted at the end of that headbutt there. He's now going to use Pulverize to try to get away from the fight. Here comes the culling, and now Nemesis is going to try to bring Kayn towards the turret, but it might be too late. The exhaust comes out on the Kayn, and this might be the little bit of damage Nemesis needs to live. It's not going to be enough, as they're going to try to return the kill. They're not going to go. It's not going to happen. That's going to be Alistar going down to the Kayn in the bottom lane.
And 5-0 right now. Honestly, Rift Herald getting dropped as well. I think mostly just for a bit of pressure to use to take this dragon with. In my mind, that was really not a very optimal Herald. Normally, you want to drop it when there's a few less turret plates, because turret plates get tankier with time, but Rift Herald always does true damage. So you can normally use it to bust open the bottom couple turret plates. That is going to be significantly more value in terms of expenditure of effort while pushing those turrets. But it did net a second dragon of the game for I Don't Know. And honestly, right now, I Don't Know are making it look too easy. They're up 5-0. They aren't giving anything anywhere. They're playing pretty disciplined. Top lane is going well for Meme Lord. He's pretty consistently pushing Anonymous around a little bit. Farm is even, but Meme Lord has been alive in the split push, which is really all you need him to do, is just not feed the Tryndamere. And mid lane going very well for Morgana Freeman. Once again, making excellent use of having that counter pick in Champion Select. And bot lane, still down about 5 CS, but Haphazard has 2 kills to 0, doing quite well.
Oh, yeah, and then we're going to see Anonymous trying to exert some pressure here. He does have his ultimate available, a decent chunk of damage onto Meme Lord here, but, you know, as we continue to see this range versus melee matchup, it keeps going into Meme Lord's favor, so let's hope that let's hope for Anonymous. Ooh, yeah, Mechanic Maniac coming in from the side here. Here comes the Onslaught of Shadows, and also going to find the kill onto Gnar here, and this might also be a decent chunk of turret plates here as well.
But look at the collapse coming through from the sides. Leonja and Morgana Freeman are about to arrive on scene. This is a 2v2 that I think they win.
Oh, yeah, Mechanic Maniac is going to be knocked into the air. The slow is not going to land for Anonymous just quite yet. He's going to force the flash here and dodge the charm as Ari continues trying to dash forward, trying to find the kill, but not going to be able to find it. They're going to back away, as maybe there's a 2v2 in the bot lane. But it looks like the blue team is just going to back away there.
Viper, though, taking a page out of the book from last time, did stay mid and get a wave for himself. So, unfortunately for him, turret plates have fallen. Not going to be rewarded with any turret plating gold at this point in the game. Blue buff resetting on Mechanic Maniac. No! You hate to see it, truly. At least Barbarians are on the board, though, right? Kill did get picked up by Mechanic Maniac. Managed to find, honestly, a pretty lucky kill onto Meme Lord. I think Meme Lord, a bit of a greedy recall combined with just a bit of bad luck, meaning he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mechanic Maniac ended up face checking that tri-bush and finding a free kill for himself. So at the end of the day, it's still 1 kill to 5, and I feel like that doesn't change the dynamic of the game very much. Barbarians didn't get much off of that kill other than a little bit of turret plating gold onto their behind jungler and behind top laner. But meanwhile, I feel like, you know, in the side lane, it's still going to be Meme Lord winning the side lane.
Looks like N2o Viper is going to immediately be charmed up here. There's going to be a stun in return. Oh my gosh, that's a huge chunk of damage coming down from Morgana Freeman here. So you're going to throw out the stun, but that's only going to find an egg at the end of that orb. But now Leonja coming in from the side, looking for the kill on the N2o Viper. The barrier is going to be popped, but lasts a little too short, as Leonja is going to be able to find the kill here. Here comes the heroic entrance, going to knock Mechanic Maniac into the air, as that is going to be just another kill in the mid lane. 3 for 1.
And top lane, meanwhile, Meme Lord found a solo kill onto Anonymous. So across the map, mid lane and top lane, good news for I don't know. I like the use of the roam from Shalennal of Demi with the heroic entrance. Fantastic job paying attention to the map there. The mid lane fight in general, the one thing I think I don't know played a little poorly is Morgana Freeman had flash. He could have survived almost for sure. He could have gotten out of that if he just flashed away from Mechanic Maniac straight into the arms of his jungler. Now Nemesis Hex Flash, half-hazardous.
Yeah, that's going to be such a huge chunk of damage and a decent chunk of gold. That's a shutdown going on to Sakura, who's already been farming very well against the Senna. So this is definitely going to be N2o Barbarians. Maybe their win con year as Lucian finally picks up the Kraken Slayer.
So maybe. I will say, you know, in my mind, Barbarians, I'm pretty confident their team composition gets outscaled. Well, mid lane, once again, Viper.
Yeah, N2o Viper taking a huge chunk of damage here. The Ignite is ticking as well. And even though you find the stun, Morgana Freeman is just going to stand right there, style on you just a little bit, and pick up that kill once again. And, you know, you hate to see it down from this Anivia, but at this point, you know, you have to be gauging your engages just a little bit better.
Gauging your engages. And,
gauging your engages.
Those words sounded like that's kind of funny. Ooh, bot lane, Mechanic
Well, you know me, I'm the funny guy.
Mechanic Maniac almost face checked into...
As the resident self-appointed funny man of Style Esports.
So, bot lane, Mechanic Maniac clearing out some vision with his team, trying to set up for a dragon, which is spawning in 23 seconds. And meanwhile, top side of the map, Leonja has decided he doesn't care that much about setting up for dragon. He's going to go for a Rift Herald instead. So I'm not sure what the plan is here from I don't know. I think this is a pretty important dragon. Morgana Freeman sort of face checking, doesn't have this Spirit Rush available, was almost in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and this is something that I don't think that N2o Barbarians want to start immediately. Anonymous is sitting in the top lane and doesn't have teleport just yet.
Well, they're starting it.
Oh, yeah, they are starting it, though. That's going to be the Dragon going down to a half HP. That's going to be the headbutt knocking Galio away. And meanwhile, the Charm is going to come in from the side, and that might be huge, but the blue team is going to be able to pick up the Dragon, as now 1-for-0 is starting this fight. There comes the teleport in from Gnar, but he's not a Mega Gnar just yet, but that doesn't matter for Morgana on the side, as they're going to be able to find the kill. Asakura is going to try to get away from the rest of the team, but it's going to be caught out by just the tip of the orb from Morgana Freeman, and that's going to be a double kill for the Ahri. They might have picked up the Dragon, but 3 kills for 1 in favor of I don't know.
Where have I seen this movie before? How many times in game number 1 did I don't know get a dragon stolen away but win the post seeding? Not pre-seeding, win the team fight, the following team fight. How many times they lose the dragon and win the following team fight? English is hard, I am sorry, but the answer is many, and that's exactly what just happened in this game. The only good news for the Barbarians is that Anonymous got top lane turret, but he might be in trouble now. Leonja's looking for a kill. Who wins this?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to see. Anonymous does have the ultimate available and hasn't popped it just yet. He's going back in, and let's see if it gets it. He's going to need it just there. He's going to be able to find it. He's going to pop the ability. Is he going to... Ooh, he's going to go down at just the last second to the turret, but a 1-for-1 in favor of Anonymous might just be more valuable for N2o Barbarians, more so than I don't know.
So I don't know anything about Trinity right now. I haven't seen one in like a year or more. This man has a Gale Force. Does that sound good to you? That sounds pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like maybe you wanted a Stride Breaker, but I feel like, because it does about the same thing, right? It has the little dash, but I feel like Gale Force just has that much more damage strapped onto it, and you don't want the health as a Trinity. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, that's going to be Galio finding the taunt onto Alistar. The headbutt and the pulverize have both been used. He is insanely low here. Senna's going to use the speed up just a little bit from her fog. Is he going to be able to find the kill? Meanwhile, in the top lane, that's going to be the Onslaught of Shadows, going to be finding onto Gnar here. He is feared. He is slowed. He is a little bit of a chicken. He's going to get that hop to get away, and Gnar's going to get out perfectly fine.
Meanwhile, bottom side of the map, Asakura and Viper trying to hold bot lane inner turret from an onslaught of I don't know's own here. It's not an onslaught of shadows, but it's an onslaught of champions. 3 versus 2. Feeling the pressure in this bottom lane turret. But meanwhile, top side of the map, Scuttle Crab will be the reward. Viper getting chunked pretty low. He's going to be okay, though.
Yeah, and this is about what you want to see, what you want to be using your Anivia for. You want to counter these engages. Ooh, Anonymous might have found out Leontia here, but Leontia actually might have found out Anonymous. He's running towards his jungler here. Leontia just be like, you know what? I'll just take your tower instead. You can have that being alive.
Top lane outer turret gonna go down here, getting pushed away by I don't know. Although Leontia dropping Herald, this is greedy. Mechanic Maniac and Viper on the top side of that. It's a 3 versus 2. I don't know, could be in trouble.
Yeah, that's going to be Mechanic Maniac jumping on the Meme Lord here, but he's going to use his jump to get away as Shelly is able to dash onto the top inner turret, and that's about exactly what I think Leontia wanted. I don't think they even wanted the turret. I think they just wanted the huge chunk of damage.
Nemesis flashing onto Hazardous.
Yeah, that's going to be a very greedy flash here. And N2o Viper going to be taken down by Ignite. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, they're going to be able to find the turret. But will they be able to find the kill onto Senna? And it's probably not, as Hazardous is immediately able to turn that around, and a huge shield coming down from Galio here. As they try to two flashes used, one of them was less successful. Meanwhile, the taunt is going to be successful. Nemesis is going to be trying to do as much as he can to get away. The Senna ultimate coming across. Leontia coming in from the side. Going to be able to find the kill. Anonymous coming in, trying to maybe find scraps of something, but there's nothing left. A 2 for 0 in the bottom lane.
Nothing left except a red buff, which Leontia will gladly take. I think he's enjoying himself and his newfound power in this game. Not quite as far behind as he was in game 1. Ooh, Morgana Freeman on Rampage.
Freeman just doing so much damage to this Anivia here, just giving an N2o Viper just a harder and harder time here. And this is exactly not what you want to be seeing at this stage of the game. Ahri just being so powerful, and there's not a whole lot of defensives being built by N2o Barbarians here, so she's kind of just free to kind of do whatever she wants.
Yeah, I think the Ahri pick was really, really good here for I don't know, and which is not unexpected, right? In game 1, Morgana Freeman had the last pick into a Lux, knew the matchup, picked the Diana, did quite well. Same story here, picked the Ahri knowingly into an Anivia, having that knowledge of what Viper was playing and saying, this is what I'm going to style on him with. And that is exactly what has happened so far this game. And now, fourth dragon of the game, third dragon potentially for I don't know has been started up. Thus far, the Barbarians have been quite good at stealing these dragons away, but I don't see a way for them to do it this time.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to get a real Hail Mary here if they want to be able to steal the dragon, and it looks like it's not successful. It's going to be the Earth Drake picking up, and maybe, I don't know, is looking for more here. They're just going to back away. They're still existing in this jungle here.
Nemesis?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a Justice Punch and the taunt as well. Looks like they're trying to find the return damage onto the Galio here, but Nemesis has already taken so much. Onslaught of Shadows comes through, and they're going to be able to find the fear, but there's no damage to follow it up. Meanwhile, Anonymous is in the middle of this team. He is now forced to pop the ultimate, but there's no kills just yet. Anonymous has been able to find one. Lucian is trying to get into the fight on the backside, and then N2o Viper is going to be able to find the kill as well, but Morgana Freeman sitting in the blizzard, going to back away. Meanwhile, the chase is on to find Anonymous here, and maybe he's able to turn this around. Here comes the Justice Punch. Here comes the taunt. He's going to get taunted. He's going to get killed. Meme Lord going to pick up another kill for themselves. A 4 for 2 in favor of I don't know.
A 4 for 2 and a lot of summoner spells burned as well. Viper going to be flashless heading into this next fight. Meanwhile, Half Hazardous and Schlenel Demi, neither of those guys had flash. The two key carries for I don't know did not have flash in that fight, didn't use them. It was still a fight win for I don't know, even though there was frankly a pretty good flank from Anonymous, almost finding a kill onto Half Hazardous very early in the fight, but Half Hazardous sort of hanging on by a thread for way too long, managed to output a lot of DPS and turn things around. And to be honest, I think that team fight may become what was Barbarians' last sort of final gasp in this game, where they almost sort of made something happen, but they're falling further and further behind. We're approaching a Dragon Soul for I don't know. Baron is now going to be healthily in contention as these carries are starting to increase their DPS and skill into late game. The Rage Blade has been finished for Half Hazardous. He is starting to do a crazy amount of damage. The next team fight should see the main carry for I don't know having flashback up. Plus, Nemesis might get caught out again right here. He's so far up.
Yeah, he was forced to use the turbo chem tank here. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Asakura is fighting Meme Lord. Here comes Mechanic Maniac in from the sideline. That's going to be the onslaught of shadows, but the Meme Lord is going to immediately cause Asakura to flash away, but that's going to be a shutdown goal going on to Lucian.
All right, so the last dragon, or one of the dragons, I said, where have I seen this before? Dragon stolen away, but a team fight went to I don't know. This time I'm going to say, where have I seen this before? Meme Lord getting caught out. I don't want to pick at you too much, but this happened several times in game 1 too. You got to play the side lane with a bit more respect. Meme Lord sort of gives away a free kill, going a little bit too aggressive on Asakura. Does burn Asakura's flash though. That could be important. You talked about it a little bit earlier. Asakura has been getting a decent, probably most of the gold that's been picked up by the Barbarians. He is most likely the one who's going to be looking to carry a lot of these team fights. And Asakura being flashless means he is going to be that much easier to lock down when he's playing against 5 champions that all have ways to really get in his face and ruin exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah. And it's all just a conversation about respecting the damage that N2o Barbarians can do. Even though you are ahead, there are specific characters that you should be respecting, especially on the side of N2o Barbarians. It just looked like Meme Lord was like, oh, we're so far ahead. We've killed them so many times. Like, it doesn't matter that Asakura is on me, even though, like, we watched the culling take more than half of his HP bar. We watched, like, the Lucian double autos just dealing a huge chunk of damage. Like, Mechanic Maniac being there was just a cherry on top. Asakura could have probably won that 1v1 if given just a little bit more time.
I don't agree with that. I don't know about that one, but we might have to agree to disagree. I think you maybe are right if Asakura played it perfectly, but the barrier of execution is very high. Now Nemesis face checking into a bush. Not only him, Viper caught up as well.
This is the I don't know special, the death brush, and they're going to be able to find at least one kill already. Asakura using the culling, but goes a little bit too wide, and now the rest of the team fight is looking for a little bit more, but they might just concede right there. Anonymous was also fighting in the backside there, but is taken incredibly low. So it looks like this might just be the N2o Barbarians. Oh my gosh, okay. I looked away for a second and said it was immediately killing the Lucian here, so... Oh man, he's Asakura. Just leave. Just go home, buddy. Just go home. Just you can't defend the turret, buddy.
You're not welcome here, Sonny.
Yeah,
run on home.
Yeah,
it's nightfall.
Yeah,
it's curfew.
Oh my gosh. Okay, as we continue to see, I don't know, continue to press into an N2o Barbarians base, just taking so much from them.
Viper and Nemesis are alive again. You gotta be a little bit careful if you're I don't know, but everyone on I don't know. Turning to this dragon as mid lane inhibitor turret falls, bot lane inner turret falling. Barbarians trying to get in to the pit, trying to do what they can to make sure that I don't know doesn't get a dragon soul, but frankly does not look likely. Dragons falling quickly.
Oh, okay, they're not able to do it again. I was like, if they are able to do it a second time, then that's just insane. But Mountain Soul is picked up by I don't know here, and this might be the nail in the coffin.
Nemesis is so far forward, but Monster straight in the Meme Lord on the backline.
Yeah, he's going to dive immediately right in. A great headbutt, a great onslaught of shadows. But here comes the rest of the team as Leontia is able to pick up the first kill onto Anonymous, a huge target. Morgana Freeman also diving into the back lane, taking the carries out of the fight as she continues to zone and getting multiple kills. That is 4 for 0 in favor of I don't know, and that might be the game as well.
It might be. There ain't no might about it. I said it in game 1. I'll say it again. If there's one thing I know, it's that I don't know are winning game 2. And now the series against the N2o Barbarians. Frankly, game 2, much more confident looking performance from I don't know than in game 1. I felt like they gave less ground, made fewer mistakes, and overall improved as a team. And Barbarians, they're struggling 0-2 now. They lose the series.
Yeah. It's kind of a tune of a lot of the times we're seeing just very interesting plays, I'll say, from N2o Barbarians, and some questionable choices that sometimes just lead themselves to just falling over a lot of the times. We're taking a look at the damage here. Look at how much damage Senna has done this whole game. Holy moly.
The Senna was huge. I also want to mention something. Viper, my man mid lane, that bird damage, not exactly hitting it home. And I don't want to be too hard on him because he is a sub. and he is a support player mostly. Does not really play mid lane. He's not even mostly a support player, but he doesn't play mid lane hardly at all, which I want to go back to the draft a little bit because I really do feel like the draft may have been
wanted to touch on
where
this
was lost. Go for it.
Yeah. You have a player who plays a lot of support going into your mid lane. You have Seraphine open in round 1 draft. You have a person who's uncomfortable in a role. Give them Seraphine. Give him Seraphine. Just let him have it.
Seraphine was open. Seraphine is so good. It's one of his comfort champions. I was very confused by the priority in the Alistar. I feel like, both times, both drafts, it feels like Barbarians sort of drafted into a bottom lane counter. And they showed their cards too quickly. They drafted both bot laners and gave the opportunity to instantly answer with whatever they wanted. That happened mid lane as well. Both games, it was Morgana Freeman who had the counter pick in the mid lane. And top lane, I mean, who cares? If you're just picking tanks, you're just slapping each other around a little bit. I mean, the Tryndamere did come through for Anonymous. There it is. The Tryndamere did come through for Anonymous, but again, it got counterpicked. Like, I don't know, literally countered every single pick that came through from I don't know was an answer to something that had been picked by Barbarians. Like, first Barbarians picked Hecarim, answered by Kayn. Then Alistar Lucian, answered by Senegalio. Then Anivia, answered by Gnar, or answered by wait, hold on. No, I take it back. Okay, so the Gnar was the one blind pick from I don't know, and the Gnar got like Anonymous countered himself by picking Tryndamere, which he's good at Tryndamere, but he picked it into a counter. So
I don't even think that that matchup was particularly bad. I don't think I want to harp on the top lane too much because I think that Anonymous was playing that matchup, even though traditionally ranged versus melee already regardless is a matchup favored towards the ranged champion. I still feel like he played that matchup very well and was most of the time. We expected him to die a lot more, right? But still played very well. It still came out even in a lot of these lanes, which is fine. I
just think a little more thought in general needs to go into these drafts. I don't know. I just feel like they're sort of picking things arbitrarily without a lot of reasoning behind it, and it's getting countered.
Yep. But that is going to do it for us here. Thank you all so much for joining us here for our match of N2o Barbarians versus I don't know. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be back with more Style Esports, more League of Legends coming to you in the future. If you haven't already pressed that follow button, why haven't you? Come on, go ahead, press that follow button because there's a lot more great League of Legends happening here on Style Esports, and you should be notified whenever it goes live. So from all of us here, myself, my co-caster, and our entire live broadcast crew, thank you all so much for joining us here tonight, and we'll see you at the next game.